We're chasing hot streaks, we're buying uniques, and we're getting ready for Game Week 5 on Sorare 26 this weekend. Lads, welcome back to episode 6 of My Sorare 26 Journey. Hope we're all doing super well. Let me know in the comment section how you're getting on this midweek, how you got on last week, and let me know, what hot streaks you're looking to hit this upcoming weekend in the comment section as always, lads. Really interested to hear, just to see your dilemmas and your situations, because they all come in shapes and sizes. They're all unique in their own way on this game, and that's what makes it so fun. But we've got a mammoth week coming up, Game Week 5. I wanted to kind of recap Game Week 3, which was last week. I'll go through my buys and sells. I've updated the Sorare tracker, and we'll have a look on Sorare Inside as well, some of the good matchups this weekend, and see what we can exploit in certain competitions, because there's some big fixtures this weekend, like Rangers Celtic, who, the less said the better in Europe about those two teams. And then, you've got, I think it's Sporting Porto, maybe. There's a couple of big games in Challenger, for sure. But anyway, recapping Game Week 3 then. It was obviously an amazing week. Like, if you watch my video on Tuesday, I made a rewards video. I crafted a few cards. I crafted a star rare, which was unbelievable. It was a really good week. Not so much from like a cash perspective. It was still good. Like you can see there, we won $11 cash. Plus, I think it was like $70 in streaks. Still amazing, obviously all relative. But to win 2 cards and the amount of essence we won, it shows for some reason we just had a really good week in Classic. We won a tier 1, a tier 2, a bunch of essence, which I spent and obviously crafted that Trubin. So it worked out magnificently. I couldn't have asked for much more. There was a few near misses in Liga, for example, like the Hogsburg DMP stopped me from getting the second streak, which was 420 points. Absolutely gutted, genuinely, because I really thought I was set up to hit something in the French comp. We stay in D1, which is nice, but we're back to square one with no 5x. Mingueza couldn't get a minute off the bench in the Liga Budget Boys lineup. The rest of the lads really put a shift in. Obviously, Yamal doing his thing, but even the rest of the boys, Fornals, with some really good all-around score. Escandel the same, considering a 3-0 loss. And Puado on pens, we said it, didn't we? We brought him in double forward because, I believe in that sort of. There's just loads of penalties in La Liga, basically, and he's on them. And to even get 15 AA as well is really pleasing away from home. We did hit the second streak and a bit of. It was the only leaderboard cash we actually hit this weekend in Jupiler League. So I'm going for the 3rd streak this weekend in Jupiler. Really excited. Did not play the streak in the Dutch League, which I'll get into. This was just an XP grabber, to be honest, with my 3-man Eredivisie stack. MLS was a shit show, as usual. Challenger could have got a lot better. If you can see here, DMP Lamina not in the squad. I really, I sort of did pretty well with the rest of the players. My priority lineup absolutely sucked, but my secondary lineup sort of did the business, considering 4-man. And Pepe DMP in Challenger was brutal. Lamina DMP again. A couple of relegations and stuff in Challenger, which is, annoying. We did hit the contender streak. I'm actually going for the second contender streak this weekend, $40. So, really excited to see if I can hit that. Champion did well. We got a couple of promotions. Not much essence, though. Friday night Bayern boys. Under 23 was amazing. I realised I thought I finished 7th, but I ended up finishing 9th in the end. I'll show you my reward and stuff in a minute. In that first lineup, some of the other ones did pretty well as well. So a couple of promotions because it was the division battle, and I went mental in arena. I only did 1 super rare arena, right? But I did 16 rare arenas. Now a lot of them were duds, but there was a couple of first places in there which made up for it. And the one that really made up for it, I did get into a few golden arenas. I absolutely stanked the place out. But this one here, the uncapped arena, where I finished first, really made up for the essence in and out. So I'll show you how that looked. And we played 1 all-star lineup, and that lineup finished. This is crazy, actually. This changed. This was 65th, right? And I was going to tweet it. I finished. Originally, I was in 66th, and I scored 666, which obviously devil and stuff. I don't really like the sort of omen there. But it ended up getting corrected to 65th, and now we're back. And now it ended up being 66 in the end, which was a tier 2, 200 essence on top because of the 10% ceiling bonus. For our only all-star lineup. So honestly, it was an amazing week. The rewards weren't outside of Trubin, which was obviously great. We crafted the Trubin. We did win John Spielers, which was my tier 1, which, to be fair, I'm not mad about. He is good, but I thought I'd get a little bit better if I'm being really picky. my tier 2 was a Ernest Poku. I think he plays with Bayer Leverkusen. I ended up trading him away in a load of other cards that like I don't use for a bit of liquidity, a bit of cash from Trend Trader. He's just like not a bot, he's just a trader on Sorare. Gives you like 60, 70, 80% depending on the quality of your cards, like of their sort of market value. And sometimes it's good to get a bit of liquidity in that way. But yeah, overall it's been a really, really good week. Like I said, I have got ready for a bit of contender streaking, which I'm excited about, because as we know, I'm not a contender boy, but I will dabble now and again. And in that, I can actually show you the trade, to be fair. Let me show you it now. Just because I have, not this guy, Ishihara. I did buy Ishihara, but I got this Nishikawa in that trade I did with Tren. So as you can see here, so I gave him all these cards. I crafted Jordan Boss. I bought Luke McCowan, whatever. I won Taniguchi. I paid like £5 for Books, £5 for Moran. There's the Poku that I won as the tier 2. And then I got 116 pounds worth of ETH plus Nishikawa back. So yeah, gave me a bit of liquidity. It kind of meant that like, I wasn't using any of those cards really. Like Poku, if I want to play Bundesliga in season at some point, I just don't think he's like my entry point necessarily. So I got rid of him. And I actually brought in a Belgium League card, as you can see here, Shrevers, for the 3rd streak this weekend, which is another thing we'll get into. But like I said, yeah, I'm streaking in contender this weekend, lads. I'm going for the 2nd streak. We don't have any lower, like the lower points target is gone now, as far as I'm aware, right? So if we go into, how do we do streaks from here? This always confuses me. Yeah, view streaks. Here we go, yeah. So this weekend we're going for contender rare streak, 420 points for $40. We're going for the challenger rare streak, 420 again for $40, so exactly the same in both. Jupiler, we're going for 440, which is $200, which would be the 3rd streak. And in Eredivisie, we're going for the 3rd streak as well, which is $200. So yeah, two 2nd streakers and 2 3rd streaks. I'm back on the 1st streak in Ligue, so I'll be going for $40, but I need to hit 400 points for that. And then I will be playing MLS as well. So we've got MLS, we've got Ligue, and then we've got these 4. So 6 streaks this weekend technically. And a combined, like we could technically win what? 400, 480, 520, 530 in streaks alone. Like that is our max sort of amount that we can win. So yeah, it's an exciting week. It's the week, or 1 week before we have international break, sadly, for a few weeks. So yeah, things will die down a little bit as far as like hype and stuff around Sorare, which is fine. It happens every international break, but it feels like they just come around too quickly, especially when we've literally just started the season. This is my midweek lineup, just a couple of under 23s. I did have a really good start in All-Star last night. I've got Edin Dzeko to play at 2 p.m. now. What are we? Nearly 12. So yeah, hopefully that can maybe get a card. We're currently in 31st in D1. Rest of the lineups are in D3, but this ended up scoring pretty well. It's in 9th right now, but not projected to stay there. So yeah, we'll see if we can scoop a bit of midweek essence. I really like to not play arena midweek for the most part, and then like scoop up some all-star, maybe under 23 essence from the midweek, and then use that in late arena for the weekend. That's kind of one of the strategies I've been using. But yeah, as far as the Google Sheet goes then, so let's go into, I am adding a little funny, not funny, but I'm going to add something into the series, which I hope, is valuable for you, advice-wise. I'm going to be trying to pick out 3 players from the Prem, Bundesliga, La Liga, and Liga, so the 4 top leagues, basically, on Sorare. I'm picking out 3 players each week that I think are going to score above 60 or more. Okay? I'm going to keep track of it on my tracker here. I've got it on this sheet 10 here. I need to rename it, basically, but I'll just call it players for now. But yeah, I'll get into that shortly. But yeah, it's just something that I want to sort of bring to every week. I want to just basically guess, 12 players that, or predict, 12 players that are going to score above 60 or more. Maybe you can use them in your lineups, captain them, whatever. Like, I'm not pumping them. I don't all own those players. I'm just, doing a bit of, scouting basically and seeing where, see if my knowledge is actually spot on. I'm not expecting to get 12 out of 12 or anything, but I think it'll be a nice little game to play each week. You can do it in the comments as well. Let me know if you've got a couple of cards that you fancy, doing well this weekend in those 4 leagues. But anyway, as far as the tracker goes, so game week 2, we won $10 of leaderboard cash. We won $2,800 of leaderboard essence, which is the most so far, as you can see. But everything was back, right? We had Champion back, Bundesliga's back, Serie A's back. So I kind of expected that, which is a nice little number to keep an eye on and see if that sort of increases over the weeks. We won $60 in street cash. We spent just under 1,900 essence to get into the arena, we ended up being net, what's that, like 550. So we won 550 essence. And on top of that, we actually won 5,000 XP. So I basically turned 1850 essence into 2.4k plus 5,000 essence, which 5,000 XP, which I think was obviously really good. Had I even just broke even and won 5,000 XP, I think that's a plus. Because XP isn't easy to get, really. Now that like the wheel's gone and stuff, not that you could get it in rare anyway. Ceiling essence, the most so far by a mile, 780 essence won, because we won a tier 1 and a tier 2. Like a tier 1 counts for 4,000, so like I've got a 10% ceiling bonus. If I win a tier 1, I'll actually end up winning 400 essence on top of that. And then a tier 2 I think counts as 2,000. I think a star is 6,000, so I would have won 600 essence had I stayed on for a star, but it wasn't to be. Super rare, we didn't win any leaderboard cash. We did win some essence, 500. We spent 100 essence in the arena. We got into a golden, but and luckily we didn't win anything, but we did get some XP from it. So yeah, Super Rare was kind of a quieter week this weekend for sure. As far as all the trackers go, I've put Spielers in here as 0 because I won him right. I just bought that Shrevers ready for the third streak this weekend, hoping to hit $200 of course. Eredivisie, we ended up getting Jordan Boss left basically. We ended up selling him, so I got him for free and I sold him basically for 15 quid. So that, I take 15 quid off my total spend. That's kind of how I'm doing it. As far as Challenger goes, what have we done in Challenger? I obviously won the Trubin. Nothing else has really happened. Actually, I did sell Adamida. I sold him for 20 quid actually. So I'm gonna, minus 20 there. So that means it takes $20 off, or £20 off our spend. Other than that, nothing else has changed there. Ligue 1. I did sell a Tom Lachey. I have got another Tom Lachey, so I've kept one, sold one. I did bring in Jonathan Klaus, who I thought was going to go to Leverkusen, and that was going to be my entry into the Bundesliga comp this season, but it wasn't to be. And now I'm not stuck. Like I have a nice in-season collection, so it works perfectly. And I basically got like a discounted Klaus because he was going. Well, I say that I paid like 60. What did I pay? £67 for him, right? 8 days ago. That was before the Leverkusen transfer looked likely, and I thought he had a lot of upside to maybe double in price from there. Start of the season, he was going for like £200 as a Nice player. He obviously hasn't really scored that well so far. And then, since then, he's back up to 50. Well, public offer 50, but he went down to like 37 six days ago. So I could have got him much cheaper. I didn't. We just got a little international break. Breaking news. Leagues may pause, but the action on Sorare doesn't. Elite arenas, higher entry, bigger rewards, golden arenas. We'll have a little look at that at the end of the video as well. That could be an interesting one. But yeah, got a Klaus in, so I've obviously added that to the tracker. Other than that, there's not much else to really look at. We didn't win any money in Game Week 2, so we're looking ahead at Game Week 5 now. That should be Game Week 3, shouldn't it, I think? Yeah, I'm being an idiot there. And then Challenger Super Rare, we didn't win anything last weekend. So we're looking at Game Week 5. That should be Game Week 3. I think I got that wrong. Nothing much has changed there either. To be honest, I haven't bought or sold anyone. Eredivisie, the same. We're still almost 100% in profit there, but not quite. Mingueza might have been... Dolan's a new addition. So I bought Therese Dolan in, who's part of my Espanyol collection now with Puado. But I did bring... he looks like he sort of broke into the Espanyol side. He started the last game, and I didn't expect him to. I did buy him with a bit of market credits actually, so I should just bring that down a little. It wasn't much. I think it was £3. So every little pound helps. So he was like £44 after credits. Obviously, I can't list him or anything because I bought him with credits. He was at Blackburn for the last couple of years, and I rated him in the Championship. I do have an Andy Moran card, and Moran was on loan from Brighton to Blackburn last year, the year before. And I always rated Dolan. I thought he was a really good little player. I got a move to Espanyol on a 3-year deal. I just brought one in. I don't think he's going to be unbelievable, but I think he'll provide me a bit of depth. And I might have overspent slightly, but it is what it is. Mingueza actually started last night and played the whole game, to be fair, against Betis. They had a random La Liga game this midweek. We're looking at £280 won, £1,161 spent. Overall, the tracker's looking like this, just under 20% sort of won, basically. So I've spent just under 4,000, and I've just won under 800. So we've got about 81% to get back to even, we're 2 or 3 weeks in. I'm more than happy with, you know, where I'm at right now. Like, I've had some really good wins, but I haven't had any like massive ones, which might not happen. Obviously, you're hoping that happens, but it very well, you know, might not. So yeah, that's the look of the tracker. Now, I wanted to show you the players that I fancy to do well this weekend, right? So I've just picked these out. This is not me saying like these 3 players in this league are going to score better than everyone else, but I'm just saying here are 12 players I think are going to score above 60 or more this weekend, and are in good matchups, you know, good spots. Elliot Anderson versus West Ham in the Prem, Kudus at home to Bournemouth, João Pedro at home to Fulham. Those are my 3 picks. They're not in like any positional order or anything. They're just 3 random players from that league, right? Cabal at home to Metz, Tovan at home to Stade Brestois, and then Lamine Camara versus Strasbourg. Camara plays for Monaco, Tovan plays for Lens, Cabal plays for Paris FC. La Liga, Edu Esposito at home to Osasuna, plays for Espanyol. Arda Güler, bit of an obvious one, but you know, at home to Mallorca, and Saganikov at home for Girona against Sevilla. Bundesliga, we're going with Antonio Nusa at home to Heidenheim, Daniel Svensson at home to Union Berlin, and then Max Arnold at home to Mainz. So yeah, we'll, you know, come back to these next week and see how I ended up getting on. Next, we'll go on to Sorare Inside and have a little look at some of the match odds and see what we can, sort of just make sense out of. Should we group it? We'll group it by competition. And I'll kind of just go through the ones that, you know, make sense as far as like in season and stuff goes. So like Austrian League, Salzburg have a really good matchup, 77% at home. So that could be a really nice spot for them. Genk is the standout matchup in Belgium, but they play this midweek, so be careful. They play today actually against Lech Poznan, I think. Club Brugge are away. They battered Rangers in the Champions League qualifier. USG at home. Mechelen at home is a decent one, as is Royal Charleroi at home to Denda. We can get rid of Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Croatia, Zagreb away to Varazdin. Zagreb have some really good scores right now. That lad from, is it Sergi Dominguez from Barcelona? He's been on fire recently. Scored an insane all-around score. Denmark, there's not too much going on, to be fair. Like the teams we've got Nordjylland, we've got, Brøndby play Midtjylland, so that tells you all you need to know, really. So some of the licensed clubs in Denmark are basically playing against each other, kind of cancels themselves out in a way as far as like scores go, maybe. Premier League, obviously United have a great fixture at home to Burnley, but United just lost to Grimsby, so I just don't know what to think there. I think Chelsea Fulham's a really nice one, as is probably Forest, hence why I've paid. Hence why I've gone for the Elliot Anderson shout. Tottenham at home to Bournemouth, I think could have goals in it. City away to Brighton, that could also have probably goals in it as well. Don't really fancy too much else. In the French League, PSG away to Toulouse, I don't think it's a gimme. With, the way PSG are rotating and stuff, it could be a bit of jeopardy there. Monaco, Strasbourg play tonight, so I could see Monaco probably dominating that game. Lens at home, Paris FC at home. Nice away to Le Havre is not terrible, but you can never bank on Nice, okay? And then Marseille play Lyon, so yeah, big fixture there. Saint Etienne at home in Ligue 2 looks a good fixture. In the Bundesliga 2, Magdeburg at home, Paderborn away looks decent. Other than that, very tight games in the Bundesliga 2. And then in the Bundesliga, obviously, Bayern away are always going to be massive odds. 80% on to win against Augsburg. Dortmund at home feels pretty good for them. Loads of goals to score there. I'd assume Leipzig as well. Stuttgart, there's a couple of nice situations there. We've got Napoli at home in Italy. Inter as well at home to Udinese. Bastoni scored 100, didn't he, last week? Couple of goals, looked really, really good. Milan away to Lecce, not terrible. Serie B, a bit of Japan. I've got a Euro defensive stack this weekend going out in that contender lineup, so I'm hoping they come in clutch. We've got a bit of Mexico, the Netherlands. PSV are the massive favourites at home to Telstar. Ajax away, AZ away. They play tonight though. 20 away to Excelsior. My boys for my sins, and then the Rotterdam derby, Feyenoord versus Sparta. Feyenoord being away from home. We've got the League Cup final, Seattle versus Inter Miami, if anyone cares about that. Bit of Norway, bit of Peru. Portugal is where it could get quite tasty because, Sporting play Porto, and then Benfica have a really good matchup away to newly promoted Alversa, is it? Alversia? I don't know how to pronounce that. Alversa? I don't know, whatever. But yeah, the 82% on. They did play last night, mine, but I don't think that'll really stop them. Bit of Russia. Scotland's interesting with obviously Celtic playing Rangers. Hibs with a good matchup at home. I think Motherwell could be really good as well. Dundee, Derby. And then, yeah, maybe Aberdeen, but they play midweek also. Bit of South Korea. Spain. I mean, yeah, Madrid at home to Mallorca is hard to look past, as is Barcelona, despite being away. Spanish, Switzerland, Turkey. Yeah, Gala at home is the massive favourite here. Fener away, not too far behind, as is Trabzonspor. Kasimpasa, decent fixture against Gaziantep. And then, yeah, you got the MLS lads as well. It could be Quinny's New York City's week this weekend against DC. That would be fun to see him, yeah, smash that comp. But yeah, some good matchups. Also some jeopardy with, a couple of big teams sort of playing against each other. And yeah, before we get into some lineup building though, this video won't be 50 minutes. I think I've learned that like I need to bring it down to like 30, 35, 40. So hopefully I don't waste too much of your guys' time this time around, lads. But I have brought in a new unique card in the form of Enis Bardi. He plays in Turkey. He doesn't play for Trabzonspor. I can't remember the actual team he plays for, how to pronounce them, were they too? He doesn't play for Trabzonspor, but he used to. North Macedonian international. I did get it off Pavel, and I sold my soul in the form of 2 La Liga in-season rewards that I won't use, if I'm being honest. Carl-Johan Jonsson is the second keeper at Strasbourg. I bought him for last weekend. He cost me like 40 quid, to be fair. I gave him $5 on top, so 45, let's call it. But Johnson's not worth 45 now. And then I obviously got rid of my Gaia, which is, yeah, sad. He was my entry point into La Liga in season, super rare as that classic unique. He actually got red carded, if you didn't know, last weekend. So he's had an absolute dire start of the season. Now, I'm not saying that like he's going to just continue being rubbish, but at the same time, I didn't basically need him, was what I came to the conclusion of. I wanted another unique in Challenger because I do have this Ivan Dolcek, who plays for Dundee, obviously in Challenger. So now I can play Bardi and Dolcek and get 100% rewards boost. So if I won the comp, which is 2.5k, I'd actually win 5 grand. Basically, is the difference there. And I did bring in Calvo 8 days ago. I don't think I must have mentioned this on last week's video. I think I haven't played him yet, but he is the Oviedo captain, and I obviously have Escandel as my keeper. So I've got an Oviedo defensive stack, obviously for my sins. And yeah, I basically bought in Calvo for 70 quid, got rid of Gaia. I paid like 130 for Gaia a couple of months ago now, and obviously brought in Bardi. So for me, like it works perfectly. Leo Gramil actually is fit now, which is great because he dislocated his shoulder or something in a preseason game. So yeah, all's well and good as far as like the uniques go. I'm really excited about Bardi. Like he takes pens, he takes free kicks. He's like 5'5". He's the typical sort of number 10 playing in Turkey. His scores aren't exceptional, but like he can definitely get a decisive, to say the least. He does well on the international break, shall we say. But yeah, he's just a player that I think I can just get more use out of him than I can a Gaia in La Liga, just because I have this Calvo now. And if I don't want to play Calvo, obviously I can play Mingueza. So I have a bit of cover for Calvo if I don't want to play him. Obviously, yeah, Gaia's gone. So yeah, all's well and good. Like I'm really happy with where everything's at. Now let's get into some lineup building, and I'll show you or basically tell you what my thoughts are with like the streaks and stuff, because I almost degened into like not really, but like a better Eredivisie lineup last night, thanks to some of my members who, yeah, if you're not a member of the channel and want to get involved, there's a link below. I think it's £1 a week. And yeah, you get yourself into the private Discord, and I've got a load of guys in there that like love the Eredivisie, as I do, but they're like a bit more knowledgeable than I am. And yeah, they gave me some tips on like what players I should sort of look for this weekend, and I came to the conclusion of I just don't think I want to spend the money on the the goal of trying to hit the 3rd streak, despite it being double rewards, despite me having cards already, having some good classic cards as well. I just don't think. Basically, I'm on the 3rd streak in the Jupiler, and I'm on the 3rd streak in Eredivisie, right? Both $200. I've got a bigger, better, more stronger footprint in the Jupiler Pro League this weekend, talking fixtures, than I do in Eredivisie. Now, obviously, you just say, well, why aren't you going for both? I am going for both, but I am just putting my energy into the Jupiler League one, to be honest, because I just do think I have a better chance there. Verrips is my only in-season keeper. Spielers comes in as, number one defender already after, winning him, last week. Shrevers comes in as my smasher mid, basically, because outside of him, all I have is Lansana. I do have Dan Heyman as well, but he's injured. Lansana's away to USG, and I just can't see me being able to score 440 points with that type of midfielder, to be honest. Victor Janssen's away to Westerlo. I still fancy him to do pretty well there. And then it comes down to, what do I do with my extra position? If I really like trying to keep under the 260 cap if possible. But in this scenario, I just don't think I can really afford to. Like, I'm close to, like, had, Van Aken been a 50 or, whatever, right? It could have worked out to get in the 6%, but I just don't think I have enough smashers below 50 or at least just one. Like, I don't think I have one smasher here that really makes sense. I mean, Gary Magny maybe makes sense. Like, it's a bit of a risk, but he's been really good so far. They're at home to St. Trudens. Like, if I was ballsy, I would do that and maybe captain Shrevers or something. I'm under the cap. I got 6%. But I just don't think I'm ballsy enough. I think I've got to play it safe and go for either, obviously, a Van Aken and Michele. But I think Strikers is the one for me. Depending on if he plays tonight, because they're in the Conference League or something. If he rests tonight and he's ready for the weekend against Zulte, which is the best matchup all weekend, I'm captain Stoikers all the way, and I'm going to just, deal with the 2%, which I think's fine. He's got great bonus. He's 5% collection. Like, he is a monster card. Like, if that card scores 100, I basically score 174 points, which is a big chunk off 440. So that's how I'm going to go into Belgium. I paid £50 for that Shrevers. The rest of the lads, obviously, I won Spielers and bought the other ones a few weeks ago. But yeah, like, my thought process is, like, I just am a bit stronger already in the Jupiler League here, whereas in Eredivisie, like, I am in D1, which is a plus. Like, I do have a D1 entry. But as you'll notice, I just don't have that many great players right now, especially in season. I have a Tom de Graaf, who I paid like £10 for after credits when he moved from Utrecht to Zwolle. He's been exceptional, right? He has an L15 of 81, which is just bonkers. They play at home to Utrecht, which is not a great matchup, right? But outside of that, I have a lot of like classic keepers I can play. But as you'll see now, right, my in-season team is basically an Excelsior stack. Yeah, they're at home, but that doesn't mean too much, unfortunately, because they play Twente, who are obviously decent. And right now, Van Gassel, I think, is still injured. He's 40% on to start, so I think he's back training. But I'm not confident that he gets the number one gloves again. Like, Ratsy's been pretty good. So, like, a team like this, it looks like it's okay. I was just going to play Saibari as my captain. Like, it's an okay lineup if Van Gassel plays. If he doesn't play, obviously I can play my Tom de Graaf. But I have a little thought that, like, I think I need to cash in on Tom de Graaf. I got an offer earlier for £75. I got him up for like 80 something. I'm waiting on someone else to nibble maybe on that to get him in, because like not that I think he's not going to do well this weekend, but at the same time I just don't think I want to spend like. Realistically, if I want to hit 440 this weekend, Saibari captain, yeah, okay, fine. Tom de Graaf at home to Utrecht, like, it's not a guarantee, but it's better than Van Gassel that might not play, right? Then I go, my midfielder's probably not good enough. My defender's probably not good enough. And if I'm being really honest, my forward's not good enough, right? So I'm then left with the bare bones of these two. And then I go, okay, I need to buy a defender extra and a midfielder. What's that going to cost me? It might cost me £100 at like minimum, £30 each a card maybe. I could go with like a Zwolle defensive stack and then like a midfielder, £30-40 midfielder. But then I think like, I still think, I just don't know if it's... Now, I'm not saying that like I'm only buying those cards for this weekend. I obviously have them for the season, right? Like, that's the wrong mindset I think to have. But at the same time, like, I just don't know if it's worth it, to be honest. And that's not to say that I think the players I buy are going to drop in value. I just don't think there's a clean sheet on the horizon for Zwolle this weekend. Now, I'd probably jinx them and they end up scoring... Tom de Graaf scores 100 this week, right? Saibari scores 100 and, I regret my decision. I just don't think it's worth spending for, whereas I thought, or I do think it's clearly worth spending for in the Belgium comp, like I have, right? I bought in Shrevers for £50. I just think, great fixture and stuff. I can't really get an equivalent of Shrevers in the Eredivisie, I don't think, for roughly the same price. And even if I do, I still need an extra and a defender. So For me, I'm just going to go in with this, probably hope Van Gassel plays, if I'm being completely honest. And I hope I sell my Tom de Graaf. I paid basically £10 for him, right? Like, that could be like £60 worth of profit, which helps me, edge closer to my goal of, winning back the money I've spent. So I think I'm going to go in with that. I probably won't waste my D1 entry. I'll probably bring it down to D2 or D3, just as a little side note. And yeah, we'll see what happens. If Tom de Graaf doesn't sell, then I probably play de Graaf in that lineup with the Excelsior boys and Saibari. But for now, we'll leave it as that. I'm just not confident. I could buy my way to confidence, but I just don't think it's worth it personally. Now, a lineup that I am really confident in this weekend is the Liga boys. Now, I think we're really set up for a week. I know we had a great opening week. Last week was bitterly disappointing with the DMP. But I think this 5 here, 2% lineup bonus. Look at this, lads. Which it makes me very, very, well, my OCD very, very happy. I don't know if I can show you here. Let me change the captaincy. I ended up, I don't think it's going to show me. I ended up using like 2,000 or 2,500 XP on Yamal to boost him from level 6 to 7 or 7 to 8. So now if I captain him, he gives me 100% boost. So his XP bonus was 7, yeah, so he went from 6 to 7. But that works out as, if Yamal scores 100 this weekend, I get 200 points from my Yamal. Which just feels ridiculous, to be honest. But it is what it is, right? Other people have him, it's not just me. But yeah, I'm honestly really, really confident in this lineup. The first time Oviedo have a good matchup, so hopefully that turns into, a clean sheet, which would be great. Simsia just scored a goal. I just got a little notification. But anyway, I think that lineup's got a really good chance this weekend. I know Real Madrid are at home. That could definitely screw me for sure. But I genuinely think there could be a little top 20 finish there for me. I really, really think so. Puado at home, Fornals at home. He's been churning some really good all-around score the last few weeks. So I'm hoping he can combine that with a decisive, and we can get into the 70, 80 pluses. As far as Ligue 1 goes, so we're back down to streak number 1. I'm going to just basically run the Nice defensive stack. Now, I don't think I'm going to risk... Actually, I'm going to play Nice defensive stack with Mangala Sarr. I think that's the play. I don't really have a classic smasher that's obvious this weekend. Greenwood and Guiria playing Lyon away. The only really good one, I think. I could play Boga to keep with the Nice sort of stack. But Tovan at home to Bressois, I think that could be my ticket to my captaincy, basically. My classic player. Midfielders, Dumbia's away to Lons, but then I'll be playing a midfielder versus my defender. I don't really like doing that. Strasbourg are away to Monaco, which is horrible. So I think that then resorts into Tyler Morton, who's been really good for Lyon so far as my extra player, as my midfielder, sorry. And then I think I'm just going to complete the defensive stack there with Nice. I couldn't believe Mendy scored this past weekend. 40 AA for somebody that never breaks 50, 50 points that is, was really pleasing. Give the armband to Tovan, 6% lineup bonus, and yeah, Bob's your uncle. D1, here I come. Hopefully there's a nice little streak in there for me. I'm only going to play one Liga lineup this weekend. So I've done my La Liga, I've done my Jupiler Pro, I've got MLS Challenger to do. Oh, I can show you Contender. This is going to be fun. So like I said, I've said it a million times now. I've come back from the dead a million times in Contender, but I've finally sort of worked up the courage to get a little in-season. Now this is budget beyond means. In-season Contender lineup for this second streak. I'm just seeing there, Gaetan Perrin is on to start this weekend, which is absolutely delightful news after his 81. Was this away? Yeah, it was away to Kryla. What they called Krasnodar absolutely smashed last week. We do have a Suso, but I do have 2 Cecinias, and I think I need to utilize one here. But basically, this lineup, I'm not exaggerating. I got Nishikawa in that. In that trade. I bought Ishihara for £3 with credits. I bought Kryvak, for £9 with credits. And then this Kim Sung, Run Sung, I've had for a few weeks in fairness. Again, I bought him with credits. And look at this, just under the cap, which makes my OCD so happy. All at home, surely 420 points is sort of in the bag there for me. I'm in D3, I don't really care. But yeah, if I could hit the $40 there, that would be like everything paid off basically in 1 week. I've had the Cecilia. I paid like £15 for that Cecilia a few weeks ago. So that's just a little fun thing on the side. I'm not really tracking that one, to be honest. It's just like a little fun little side hustle thing. We'll do my first MLS lineup. I'm just so tapped out with MLS now, lads. Like, I can't lie. Like, I don't know. Honestly, like, I love the MLS, but I just can't seem to just get a good result at all, ever. Yeah, it's a bit brutal, to be honest, but I'm gonna play as good as a lineup as I can possibly do. Bouanga up front, Carlos Heel, Engel in defence, Sean John at home to Montreal in that Canadian derby, and then I'd probably go Hanny, to be honest. Hanny at home to Atlanta. That surely has 100 written all over it. It's D1. Like, I'm not even bothered about the streak at this point. Like, the streaks and stuff are so low in MLS. Like, I can't really get excited about it, and I think I've like lost out on the chances of hitting anything. Like, I don't think I can get into the MLS special comps. Basically, I'm obviously salty. Like, you can hear it, obviously. But yeah, Challenger Super Rare. This is where I'm hopefully going to be using both my uniques, my in season and my classic, to get that juicy bonus, which, like, at minimum, I'm hoping it just gives me, well, it will, like, if I finish in the places, not even the cash places, if I just finish in, let's have a look at the prize pool. If I finish in lineups, game week 5, like, all I'm, like, at a minimum, this is, obviously I want to get into the cash prizes, but where does it start with the essence, right? So if I get top 100, currently there's 141 players, that obviously will grow. If I get top 100 and I use both uniques in one lineup, I'm basically getting 500 essence from that lineup because of the rewards boost, which, you know, is basically half a card. Like, and if I'm also playing in Eredivisie Super Rare in season, if I'm also playing in La Liga, if I get top 100 in every single one of those comps, I'm basically earning 1,000 essence every week, which is a craft a week in Super Rare, which for me is insane. Like, that's a lot of essence for me. Like, not in Rare, like, I'm expecting to make more essence than that every week. But in Super Rare, where I only have 4 in-season lineups, 2 Challenger, 1 La Liga, 1 Eredivisie, like, that is massive for me. So, that's basically the goal. And there's another little side note. I'm just seeing there, Livakovic, actually played, didn't he, last night for Fenerbahce. And apparently, he's into play now. So, Livakovic is apparently back, which I'm not going to risk him here. I might play him in like an arena lineup or something, because I have 2 in-season goalkeepers. Vitoria are at home, Big Charles in goal, so he will be, he'll definitely be getting used there. Now it's a case of, like, what do I do with my unique? Do I have better super rares to use? Like, Akon at home for Galatasaray is probably a nice little position, isn't it? It's one of them where you go, yeah, it's hard not to play him there over Dolcek, although he's like a unique. I need to make sure that I don't just play cards because they're uniques, if you know what I mean. Like, Bardi's away to Gaziantep or whatever, right? Like, it's not an amazing matchup. I have Roland Salai at home for Gala. I have to play Salai there, right? Like, it's those situations where I can't be too blinded with the unique stuff. But just as like a little like test run here, I really do like Zubkov at home for Trabzonspor, Salai at home for Gala. Ideally, I do something like this. Akon up front for Gala as well. But the issue is I could use João Mendes at home, right? I could do that, Captain Akon or whoever. And like that, I think it's a good lineup. The only thing that lets me down there is probably the defender. Like the other players could obviously let me down, but as a bet, I would say João Mendes is probably the one to let me down. He's just not a great scorer. Like, if we're just being brutally honest, he can do okay now and again. Like, I think that is a really good little like situation. The other thing I could do, which makes it for me a better all-around lineup, would either be Bardaki in defence or Otamendi. Either or, really. I think probably Otamendi. I know he's away, but he could probably do really well there. And then I'd probably go in and get Dolcek away to Dundee. And then I can then bring in whoever, effectively. I can do Zubkov. I can do any of the Motherwell boys. I could even bring in my Enes Bardi if I really wanted to. And I'm not like married to the thought of like having to play both uniques together. Like, at the end of the day, yeah, you're making 100% like on rewards or whatever, but You have to win for that 100% to make sense. So that's when I'm like, yeah, maybe I'm just better off just going for the best players. Well, I am. I'm much better off going for the best players rather than the highest, like the higher scarcity players. If you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I think that's probably my best lineup on paper. And then it looks something like Bardaki, George, Bardi, Tawanda. Motherwell play at home. I fancy Motherwell to do pretty well this weekend. And then it's Lamina's out. Buskov probably doesn't start. It probably is. Yeah, it's probably Elliot Just then. Give the captaincy to Bardaki. You know, it's a decent lineup. Like, I don't think it's as good as the first one. Well, I almost certainly say it's not. But it's still decent. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if that did okay. Yeah, Bardi plays Friday, I'm just noticing, which is always scary. So yeah, really excited for the Challenger Super Rare stuff. As far as the rare stuff goes, obviously Trubin comes into the gallery, which is massive. So I think utilising him this weekend is just, I mean, I'd be stupid not to. I do have an Otamendi Classic. I do have an Antonio Silva as well. Obviously, I can't play both together. So Otamendi, Trubin there. And then it has to be in season cards from here on out. So what can we do? Valleys at home to Midtjylland. We can do the Motherwell boys, Slattery. Oh, Thiago Silva's the obvious one. Thiago Silva's like my low-key pick for the week. I love him. He hasn't really been like amazing so far, but I think he could really pop this weekend. Akon as my in-season forward, and then as the extra player. Extra player is not going to be that powerful, is he really here? It's either Valleys or one of the Motherwell lads, like Slattery, Elliot Watt. I have a couple of decent Motherwell lads that could. Elliot Just has been really... Elijah Just, sorry, has been really good so far. Simon Murray in the Dundee Derby. I think I'm going to go Slattery, though. I think Slattery makes the most sense there. On set pieces, I think there could be a decent score in there. I am cautious of the time. I don't want to go too far over. I'm going to do one more Challenger lineup for now. I'll show you my champion lineup, and I'll do under 23, and we'll call it a day there, because yeah, I don't know, maybe, yeah, let me know in the comment section if you enjoy the longer videos, but I'm just scared that you don't enjoy the long videos, lads, and I need some reassurance that you do. Basically, if you don't, then you know it's more than fine. I just wanna let you know. Okay, let's go Tawanda. You know what? Actually, I'm not gonna play Valleys here. I want to double up on Elliot Watt. And then extra player. This could be anyone. We've got some really good options here. Carter Vickers, Sanchez, Ignacio, Big Harris at home. Surely we've even got Luka Modric. How fun is that? You know what though? I'm gonna go Bastoni. I'm going to go Bastoni as my captain. Just over the cap, which is really annoying. That's going to bug me. But I still think he could do another 100 like last week. Let's finish. Let me show you my my champion lineup. Where is it to? Now I put this champion lineup in before the deadline because Omari was L15 and 0 last week. He's at home tomorrow night, and it allowed me to fit all these L15 of like 50, 60, 70 players into a lineup. So it means I've got 4% on this, whereas if I edit this lineup and submit it again, I'll have 0% because it'll be over the cap. Of course, I don't get the multi-club bonus, but I do get the cap bonus because, like I said, yeah, Omari's L15 and 0, which is quite sneaky, but yeah, little tip there for you if you didn't know. And then under 23, we've got Tom de Graaf at home. We also have Layson at home. I am inclined to probably go Layson there with the lower L15. And he's more than capable of getting a clean sheet. De Bast in defence at home to Porto, not easy. Dean Huijsen is the one though, isn't he? He's my captain every week so far. Midfielders. Oh, Krivak. Yeah, definitely double up on Krivak. Low L15. Jack McGlynn, Tanner Tesman. I could probably use both of them. I'm going to go McGlynn away to St. Louis. St. Louis are rubbish, I think. Shout out to the St. Louis lads. Now, I massively regret not playing Chaibi last week. It was out of him and Bassar Onal. Onal did score really well, but Chaibi scored 96, which is a lot better than really well. It's almost perfect. So I cannot make the same mistake again. Although, you know, away to Hoffenheim is not as easy. So yeah, I'm still kicking myself for not using him there, but I am going to use him this week. I think I might go Franjo. It's basically either Franjo. I think Jashari's broke his leg or something. I heard. Or broke something in his leg. Dumbia, Tanner Tesman's a really tough game though against Marseille. There's Onal. You know what? I'm going to go Onal. I'm going to double up with the forwards. It's under the cap as well. We're getting the multi-club bonus. I'm really excited for that under 23 lineup. That lineup's really, really fun. We will do another little under 23. We have division. Well, obviously divisions are like live now, so I'm in D1 for this weekend, which is always fun. I think Trubin makes the most sense in defense. In goal, I've just got to pray that he starts because he could easily just DMP on me, and that would be catastrophic to say the least. Smets in defense. That's a great fixture for him if he plays. I don't mind Emir Byram there. Ravench has been pretty good so far. I did see Bella Kotchap move to Verona, which was an interesting little move. Matsima at home to Bayern. That could be one of those ones where like he could get like 3 last man tackles, but he could also just concede a penalty and get a red card. I think I'm going to go with Nuno Mendes though. Liverpool, Arsenal. I don't fancy Wirtz there, honestly. Jack McGlynn again. Yeah, it could be Jack McGlynn time, couldn't it? Yeah, let's go. Let's double up on McGlynn. Rocco Reitz away to Stuttgart again. I'm not overly confident about. My midfielders are kind of weak this weekend, aren't they? Like matchup wise and even just personnel wise. I don't think I've got too much going on here. And so I'm struggling here, lads. I should go out and buy a midfielder really, because what I'm seeing here is not too pleasing. Like I have some decent players, but nothing that I'm like, wow, that's a really good matchup. But I'm going to go Rocco Reitz for now. Hopefully he just gets loads of decisive defensive actions. João Pedro is a shoe-in for my forward. And then it's who gets the extra position nod. Cherky away to Brighton. Simsi has been really, really good so far. Big Zeno. I don't think Zeno gets it, does he? Alanga away to Leeds is not terrible. I might actually go Bahoya. He scored so well last week. Unfortunately, not under the cap, sorry. Smets gets the armband. And that is going to conclude... Well, that's all the in-season lineups done. A couple of classic, under 23s and champions done as well. I am honestly, really excited for this weekend. Some on paper really good chances to get, into some of the hot streaks. MLS, less said the best, sorry. Challenger looks really strong on paper. Really hoping that we can have a little push there. Praying we can hit the contender streak. And then obviously the champion and U23 stuff in there. I will do an all-star lineup as well, probably tomorrow, depending on what happens tonight with fixtures and players and stuff. But not too sort of bothered about that. As far as essence goes, I've got a little bit of essence in Super Rare and Rare. I'm going to see how I get on this midweek. As far as how much midweek essence I win, and then depending on other things, maybe do a few late arenas and stuff over the weekend, when you have team news. So I think that's a really good thing about Arena. It does give you a chance to see the teams before they go out, which is obviously one of my gripes about SO5 in general, that we're picking players to play, not players to play well, effectively, right? So, but that's that's a conversation for another day. Absolutely, ecstatic for the weekend, lads. Let me know, if you're excited for the weekend, what streaks you're on and stuff. As always, please do leave a like, lads, on the videos. It genuinely means the world to me. Thankfully, Baby Trades hasn't come in and destroyed the flow of the video today, which has been nice. Appreciate you all. Massive good luck this weekend. And I'll see you guys in episode 7.